How do you throw a two? How do you throw a straight? I'm going to show you. Just keep watching this video, and I think by the end of the video you're going to know what I mean. So how do you throw a two in boxing? What's a two? Two is a straight. That's your power punch. One of your power punches anyways. So I'm going to get into it right here. I always tell, when I start teaching people boxing, especially with the ones and the twos, I tell them to think about baseball. So a lot of you played baseball as kids and you swung a bat. So this is going to be for my right-handed stance today. I'm going to come right here, I'm going to grab my bat, and you know when you swing a bat, you use your hips when you swing that bat. Well, my toe turns, my knee turns, my hip turns, shoulders, everything. I torque into that bat. So boxing's the same way when you throw that two. What I mean by, so when you throw a two, it's not just this, right? You don't just throw a punch. I mean, you can, this isn't wrong, but this isn't the full way to throw that two. Your power in boxing always comes from your hips. So when I throw this two here, I'm right here. I'm going to make sure I turn my toe. That correlates to my knee, then to my hip, all the way up to my obliques, my shoulder, down to my arm, to my fist. So what I mean by that is it looks like this. Just like that. I got my breathing in there. So as you see what I did there, I started, just like I said earlier, toe, knee, hip, shoulder, fist. It goes all through that power does. So I'm right here, I'm boxing, I throw that one, setting up that two, boom. There we go, right there. So from a stance, when I'm in front of you, it looks like this. Just making sure you get those hips torqued. Now you don't necessarily have to turn the toe. Turning the toe is just an easier way to engage those hips. So I'm going to show you how this works on a bag now. So if you see my videos before, we worked on the jab. Now we're going to go back into two. The two is really close to how you throw that jab. The two just has a lot more power behind it. So what I'm going to do here, when I get ready to set up those twos, I come right here. Now when you throw these twos, you're not aiming to push the bag like that. You'll see and you'll think, why is every time I hit the bag, it goes all over the place like that? It's not what you're aiming for. You're wanting to get a nice pop into that punch. So when you're here, you throw that punch. After you land it, right before you land it, you pop your shoulders into it just a little bit. So you just like this. Right before that punch lands, my fist turns, and then I land it straight on the bag right there. So we're here. Boom, just like that. Now as you see when I'm throwing this too, I'm not, so you can see the difference in that. If I was boxing somebody and I come here and do this to them, that is not going to hurt them. It's going to be very slow and it's just not going to work. Unless you're boxing somebody that's not very good. So the goal is here is to get a nice pop into that punch. So I'm going to show you with a 1-2. Alright, one other thing you want to look at when you throw these twos is you don't want your elbow going out. So when you start, it's very easy to have a lot of bad habits because you've never done this before. So when you're throwing these punches, you want to make sure you're not doing this with your punches, right? As you see what I'm doing here, if I face you and I do that, my elbows are just turning out when I'm throwing these punches. Very, very bad for the shoulders. You're slower, you're not generating the power like you can. So you want to always make sure you keep those elbows in. So right before you throw the punch, see what I do here? It's like, I always say it like a rock'em sock'em robot. So if you gotta have that torque in there, I'll switch stance on you, I'm sorry. So, just like this is how the motion looks. Then you gotta torque your hips into it. The motion's here, but then you torque your hips right into that two. One more extra tip I want to show you when you throw that two. You can stand beside the bag right here, or you can stand on the wall like I did in some of my last videos. You throw that two. This helps me and keeps me accountable for in case I throw my shoulder out, okay? So I cannot throw my shoulder out when I throw the twos now because the bag is in the way. Now it's going to be a whole lot worse on you if you're trying to do it on the wall because the wall is going to move like the bag does. So I hope you learned a lot from that video. The twos are a very important punch. I've showed you the one in some of my last videos. Check out the two. I've got plenty more coming. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video.